just want to say a massive thank you to Caitlin and Ashlyn for joining me today. As it's apprenticeship week, thought it'd be a great idea to get us three together, all from three different sectors, and sort of a share our story on how we got to where we are today, pretty much. So just I'll start with doing a wee introduction of myself, the apprenticeship I took, and then we'll sort of pass it over to you two. You can share a bit about yourself and your journey. So my apprenticeship was an electrical apprenticeship, which I started in 2011, I think it was, with Crown House Technologies. My current role today is working in learning and development with Tigers, so that apprenticeship sort of opened different doors for me once qualified. I'll go on to talk a bit more about that as we go on, but Caitlin, would you like to just introduce yourself and sort of what your role is just now and what apprenticeship you undertook?
Yeah, so my name's Caitlin Forrest and I am the Kickstart coordinator for Tigers, and I went to university and graduated, and I really struggled to get a job within events and marketing. So I came to Tigers and undertook a digital marketing apprenticeship and qualified in 2018, which led my into progressing into a marketing assistant role, and then progressed on to my current role just now.
Brilliant. Ashlyn, do you want to give us a wee insight into your role just now and what apprenticeship it was you done?
Yeah, no problem. Hi all, I am Ashlyn Bent. I am 52 and I am the current health and wellness coordinator for Tigers. And again, I'll share a little bit more about that in a little bit. But I qualified in my level 7 and did my apprenticeship with Tigers and Lullaby Lane.
Brilliant. We'll just go on. I'll kind of start first. I'd like to talk a bit about sort of Caitlin, you mentioned it a bit there, how your journey began. How did you sort of get the apprenticeship to start with? What was the first step? So for me, fortunately, I kind of knew what I wanted to do, which isn't the case for a lot of young people. So my uncle was an electrician, and I'd kind of been out working with him, just helping, general labour, sort of high wrapping cables, nothing major. But from a young age, I kind of got it into my head. That's what I wanted to do. But when I left school, there was sort of it was difficult to get apprenticeships. I think there was like a recession going on. So eventually the step that I had to take was doing a course very similar to Tigers with the EF programme. I went to Motherwell College and done a course that was sort of just to expose you to all the different trades, and then they basically tried to find you an apprenticeship at the end of that. So I'd already passed my SEC test, which is similar to the CSCS, but sort of a more electrical specific. Went to college, I kind of made it clear that's the route I wanted to go down, but what I did really enjoy was sort of learning more about bricklaying, plumbing. I was doing painting and decking. I was doing a bit of everything, as well as the electrical side of things. So the programme kind of finished, and I'd found out that I'd got an interview with a company called Crown House Technologies. They're part of the Langerope group, and they're a massive company up and down Scotland, England, Ireland. They're pretty much big everywhere. There was a lot of big jobs like hospitals, schools, and prisons and stuff. So I was really excited to be given the opportunity to interview. Obviously, really, really nervous. I couldn't drive at the time, so my mum took me over. Obviously, the people that were running the course at Motherwell College had kind of felt them in about me already and sent over sort of like a portfolio of my achievements, what I'd done, my CV and stuff. So I'd get in for the interview, and I must have been in and out in about 5 minutes, and I didn't really get asked much questions. The guy had even said to me, like, "Don't stress yourself, pal. We're just checking you've not got 3 heads." And I'm like, I don't even really know what that means. So anyway, I went out to the car, sort of a bit disheartened, because I was like, I don't think I've done well there. Obviously, gets in the car, and my mum's saying, "So how did that go?" Obviously, she's kind of get everything crossed, thinking it's went well. I'm like, I really don't know, because I'm like, I'd prepared a lot. I'd done a lot of research on the company, so I could kind of say, like, listen, I've looked into these, I know the big jobs you've been on, and I'm really glad to work here and things like that. And it wasn't really sort of mentioned at all. So I was a bit thinking, I don't know, I've maybe went in there and I've said something wrong. fast forward 10 minutes, just as we're sort of getting back to the house and my phone goes, kind of saying, we're happy to start you, start date and stuff. And I'm kind of looking at my mum like, oh my God. But so I was obviously absolutely buzzing. That's pretty much how my journey began, going through the college course and then a 5-minute interview pretty much, and that started my apprenticeship journey. Caitlin, I know you've kind of touched on yours, but do you like to sort of share a bit more in depth how that all came about?
Yeah, when I was at school, you were kind of only spoken about, going to university. So I didn't really know much about apprenticeships to start with. So I went to Queen Margaret University and I got my degree in events and marketing. And I did learn so much at university, especially working independently. But after that, I really, really struggled to get a job. And I was even asking for feedback. And they were just saying that, we need somebody with experience. But how can you get experience if you've never had a job before? Specifically in that field, because I had jobs. I had a waitressing background, part-time jobs, but not physically worked in that sort of environment, like an office environment. So I found a Facebook advert for Tiger's digital marketing modelling apprenticeship online, and then I got in contact. I just phoned up, and then I spoke to Julie Day, the business skills manager, and she invited me to come in to have a chat. So we got chatting, and Laura and Julie asked if I wanted to do the administrator role for Employability Fund, which was really rewarding in itself, because you got to offer young people starts. They get that opportunity to gain practical experience. So it was really rewarding. And then I progressed on to my apprenticeship in digital marketing for Tigers. And then when I completed that, I then got the opportunity to do a marketing assistant role, which was really good. And now I am a Kickstart coordinator.
Brilliant. Tell me about yourself. How did your apprenticeship journey begin?
A very long time ago, before you two existed, I think. Yeah, no, I started off like most people, 15, had enough school, don't want to do it. Going home, my mum said, well, you're not giving up school without doing something. So it was an apprenticeship, and it was hairdressing. We did 3 days in the hairdressers, 2 days in business and technical college. Absolutely hated it.
What did you?
Absolutely hated it. I was the skivvy on the floor. I was the one cleaning the floor, washing the floor, going out and buying all the other staff's lunches and things. At the time, it was absolutely horrible. But hairdressing wasn't for me. If anybody that knows me knows that I'm not I don't even like going to the hairdressers, never mind working in one. It's just not me. So at the time, my mum and my sister ran their own play school. Now, back in the day and in Ireland, all you needed was one little course with the Irish Childcare Association to get your license to open up a nursery. So that's what they did, and I loved it. But then I got pregnant on my first son, so I gave that up and ended up getting married and having 4 more children. And then I moved to the Middle East and got a job in a school out there, teaching with no qualifications. But whilst out there, I did my Montessori training, so I am a Montessori teacher. I also did Jolly Phonics, so I'm a Jolly Phonics teacher. But obviously, when I came back to Scotland, then those qualifications didn't transfer over. So I went to Lullaby Lane, had an interview there for a job. Obviously, it came to light, that I didn't really have the qualifications, and I was asked would I do a modern apprentice. Didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
So kind of looked at Ian, was who interviewed me at the time, and I'm saying to Ian, a bit old for to be an apprentice, and he's like, no, never too old. He says you have what it takes to do it, to be a good practitioner. My children are all grown up. I love working with children. They do nothing but give you laughter and happiness. Yeah. So yeah, I took it, did my apprenticeship with Lullaby Lane, and loved every minute of it. Absolutely loved every minute of it.
That's brilliant. Can you remember your first day, sort of as an apprentice then?
Yeah, yeah. It was quite interesting because obviously I'm walking into a nursery. I was 49, 48, 49, and I'm
Right.
walking in on the floor and I'm going, "Hi, everybody, I'm Aisling," and they're all going, "Hi, hi, hi." And then it dawned on them all that I was the apprentice. They were all qualified at 19, 20, and I was the apprentice, even though I had years and years of experience. I had 10
Yeah.
years in the working in a childcare setting. It was just funny. It was just funny, they're all looking at me, and then they go and ask me something, and they go, "Yeah, but you're just an apprentice." We used to laugh, like for childcare protection as well. I couldn't be left with children on my own until I was qualified and until I had my PVG and that. So that was another joke, can't leave Aisling with the children, on our own. So we used to, when we were out on field trips and things, we'd get looks because I always had to have somebody with me. But that was the rules, and that's, there for the children's safety as well as mine. So it was,
Yeah.
but it was an in-house joke. The oldie needs supervision, so.
That's brilliant. What about yourself, Caitlin? Can you remember sort of your first day? How were you feeling? Were you nervous, excited? Was it mixed emotions or?
I think I was mixed. I think because I'd never worked in an office environment, I was really excited and everyone was really welcoming. But it was a bit like surreal, like just sitting there and, you could hear like phones going and you're working, and I think it was good to see it. That's what an apprenticeship does. It gives you that practical experience, like of what actually is that field showing you to do in a working environment. So yeah, it was I would say a mixture.
Oh,
But good.
brilliant. I can just to share a bit. My first day, I was the kind of, I was excited. I was really excited to start, but I was a bag of nerves. So I started in Shot Prison, the new build, in 2011, and it was massive. And I'm talking, there was hundreds of different tradespeople on the job, all different, obviously, sectors of the construction industry. And I've got there like turning up first day on a building site, never mind a site of this size. And I can mind I was working with my tradesman Richard at the time, and I kind of said, "Okay," to jump down to the toilet, and I was away for about an hour and a half. I couldn't find my way back to him. So then I get back? He's like, "Where are you? I thought you'd been home." So I'm wandering up and down these like prison blocks, and I had no idea. So like, didn't want to act like it was that daft wee boy walking up to people, but I eventually had to go, "Excuse me, do you know what Richard does, the electrician?" So I could find my way back to him. But just that first day nerves. And by the way, that still happened until I was a qualified tradesman, going on these big jobs and just sort of getting lost in how big they were. But that sort of probably brings me on to the next bit, and like what an apprentice means to you. So for me, like in the day in apprentice, you start off and as Aisling was kind of saying, you're doing sort of the labouring side of things. You're not doing anything. Not diving in there and wiring lights and that right away. So I was sort of doing the cleaning up, fetching the tools and stuff. But when you get a tradesman that's or a tradesperson that's happy to sort of showcase their skills to you and demonstrate what they're doing, my responsibilities gradually sort of grew, which is always going to happen. I'm not going to like walk onto a building site instantly doing the most technical of things, but for me that was good. So it was a mixture of learning the theory side at college, also doing a bit of practical at college, but then sort of when I was back on the building site, trying to put that into practice and sort of getting my skills that way. But no, it was really good. And sort of I put down here for stories that I'm particularly fond of. So my missus gives me a hard time because I was like, I'm one of the people that goes, "I worked in that job and I worked in that job," and she's like, "I know, you tell me this every time." The best job I've worked on was Alderhay Children's Hospital. Obviously, because all the work they do, that's just see to be part of that for me is amazing part of putting all that together. And again, that was a massive job. My first time working away from home, so I think 2 years I was down in Liverpool staying for, which is quite funny because initially I was told I was going down for 2 weeks, just till they found another job in Scotland. So that 2 weeks, 2 years, but loved every minute of it. It was brilliant, an absolutely great experience. So Aisling, just kind of similar sort of a theme. What did being an apprentice mean to you? Obviously, you've kind of touched on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, this time around being an apprentice, it was something that I wanted to do. It was something I was passionate about. So, you know, it just gave me the right to say I am qualified to do this and I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, it just, and you know, yes, it was funny because of my age, but you know, I'm a firm believer, and I've said it even before this, you know, you're never too old to learn. And Tigers gave me that opportunity. You know, they didn't look at me and go, yeah, but you're not 20. Oh no, you're not 18. You know, they seen somebody that had a passion to do something and they gave me the chance to do it. So yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What about yourself, Caitlin? So what did it mean to you to be an apprentice? And I sort of I know I'm kind of jumping ahead a bit, but what was the typical day like with your tasks and things like that?
I think being an apprentice was like a real experience for me, like how to actually organise your day, planning, communication, how do you actually like speak to people and build relationships, and like what does it feel like to work in an office kind of environment? I think that's really what an apprentice means to me, and getting the technical skills. You know, digital marketing is really technical.
Yeah.
Didn't really know about Photoshop or video editing, but doing that apprenticeship, you got actual experience of doing that and learning the software, which is vital, you know, for like businesses need it now more than ever. Like just look at what coronavirus has done. Like everyone's now online. It's such a vital thing for business to have a online presence. So, you know, it's really, really important.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm thinking as well, Ashley, I'll go to you for this one first. So how did you feel when you qualified then, when you're no longer considered an apprentice? That was you fully qualified?
It felt amazing, absolutely amazing. I was actually in head office the day that Yvonne came through to me with my qualification. I didn't even know what had gone through. I didn't even know it had been passed. And they kind of bamboozled me with it, you know. But yeah, it was great. It was great. It was actually great to go back to the girls and go, woohoo! You know, look
Brilliant.
at me. You know, it really was good, you know. And you have to take these things kind of on the chin at my age. You know, you can either get depressed or fed up about it, or you can embrace it and run with it, you know. And doing a few of the school expo days with Dave, it's just good to have somebody a little bit older, you know. And it's nice now to see other older women coming in. Hopefully a few guys, we need a few more guys. But yeah, it's brilliant. It's just it's a wonderful feeling. And I'd say for anybody who is passionate in the field that they're going into to get that qualification, to see all your hard work being recognised, and it's just great. It's brilliant.
Fantastic. What about yourself, Caitlin? So how did you feel when you were fully qualified then?
It felt really good because obviously I've been trying a long time to get a marketing job and specialise in the field. So it was really good. My assessor Jennifer at the time came through, got a wee picture. So it was a really great and rewarding feeling to finally get it.
Brilliant. Just the same. I was working in the Scottish Power job in Glasgow at the time, and it took a few weeks. I had to sit a trade test, and that again, I must just be a nervous person, but I was a bag of nerves. So when I'm nervous, I want to talk. So I can remember you're basically in a practical booth, and you have to sort of wire it up and whatnot. I'll not bore you with the details, but there's a like invigilator, similar to your school exams, kind of walking up and down. And I was kind of wanting to talk to him, like, how are you doing that? Because he wasn't talking, but again, a bag of nerves. So I'd done all that, done all the testing, done the theory side, and I think it's 2 weeks before you find out. So I was kind of checking my emails every day, just like, is it a pass? Is it a fail? Do I need to reset or whatever? And I'd got an email in saying I would pass. So obviously I'm buzzing. I'm telling all the tradesmen I've worked with over the years and current colleagues, and they're like, right, I think it was like a Wednesday or something. I'm sure it was a Wednesday. And the guys were like, right, we're going out to celebrate. So even they made a big deal for me. So it was brilliant. And for me becoming that qualified tradesman, it meant that I was trusted to look after apprentices that were starting their journey. I loved it. Just it's maybe not for everyone, but to try to pass on the skills and knowledge that I'd learned, these youngsters coming through, I would be like asking to get an apprentice rather than being asked, like I'll take one of them and sort of show them the ropes kind of things. I just loved that, and I had a few trades people as well that loved passing on their knowledge to me. So that's us kind of sort of wrapping up. I think I already know the answer to this last question, but would you recommend the apprenticeship route to others? Ashley, we'll go to you.
110%. Yep. Even if you don't end up in the role that you initially start training, it opens doors.
Yep.
It opens doors.
Definitely. Yourself, Caitlin?
Yes, definitely. I think, you know, there's so many different things you can do in, you know, like the world. So an apprenticeship just opens that other opportunity to gain real life experience and actually have a taster of what you want to do. Because sometimes you have an idea of what you want to do and then you do it and you're like, I wasn't expecting that, or do you know what, I really enjoy this. So I think that's what an apprenticeship can do for you. It can just help ignite your passion or discover what you really, really want to do. And then there might be a role within that actually opens up something else. So like with me, like going on to do Kickstart, you know, it's still marketing, but it's another avenue, just what Aisling said.
Brilliant. No, I totally agree. I think it just, as you're saying, if you look at us as examples, the apprenticeship we started doing, we're not necessarily doing that role now, because once we've got that qualification, it's opened up other doors and other avenues for us to sort of go, yeah, a minute, I can do that. And as you're saying, when you were looking for jobs initially, you've not got any experience. It's sort of that apprenticeship gives you that experience to open up these opportunities. Again, the biggest thing for me as a youngster doing an apprenticeship was being able to earn whilst I learned. It wasn't like going to college and I wasn't getting money for it. I was getting that weekly salary, learning on the job as well as getting the theory side of things at college. But no, I'd highly recommend the apprenticeship route to anyone, and I have done passionately for the last few years anyway. But no, thanks a lot for joining, and hopefully somebody takes something for us sharing their stories. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.